Sometimes we want to be more deterministic in when we exit a while loop. Or we want to say specifically, get me out of the loop right now. And that's what the break keyword accomplishes. So within a while loop, if we have our break keyword, what will happen is it will immediately exit the while loop regardless of the loop's condition. So this could be true while true. So that's always true. The expression here is always true. It's always going to execute, but when we see break, we're done. We exit the while loop and we come down to the next line of code, non-indented or indented at the same level as the first character here of the while loop, down farther in our program, right? So we'll be done executing whatever's indented here under the while loop and we'll continue on in the program. So that's what the break keyword does. It's an important component of learning while loops. So let's take a look at that. We've got PyCharm here, and let's change this a bit. We don't need our control variable anymore from the previous video. So another thing I love about PyCharm, by the way, it's a great teacher for PEP 8 standards. And I was reminded of that by this highlight here. This is actually an error because it shows me, hey, I don't have a variable named control variable because I deleted that. But one thing also that we can see, I have to scroll way over here. You see this line on the very far right? That's 79 characters, which is a PEP 8 guideline that each line should not be longer than 79 characters. So that is there's a lot of very useful little tidbits in PyCharm that help us to get better at programming according to standards and convention. Another example is, let's just say while we're on the topic, I can show you some things. So var1, var2 equals blah. Check this out. So it's highlighted this for me. It says too many blank lines according to PEP 8. And let's see, let me highlight that again. Show quick fixes. Reformat. Okay, it didn't actually explain the fix there, but it wants one space in between kind of unrelated pieces of code. Or 0 spaces, which is fine. But if we have lots of spaces, then PEP 8 doesn't like that. Anyway, my point being, PyCharm will help us learn programming in Python very well because it closely aligns with PEP 8 standards and can give us hints. So I encourage you to pay attention to that. And that's one reason why we're learning PyCharm as an IDE first, so that you can use that and get familiar with some of the helpful things that it gives us. So where were we? We were creating a while loop, and we were just going to show the exiting the loop intentionally or exiting the loop very deterministically with our break statements. So we got so far while true. Let's use input. We've learned about input. And say enter key Q to quit. Okay, so input, and then we're going to say if, let's assign that to a variable. User input is assigned input. It's assigned the result of this input method, enter a key, Q to quit, which will be a string. So user input will be a string. If user input equals Q, the letter Q. We could also do something like if user input dot lower And look here. Oh man, so many cool functions with PyCharm. I love PyCharm. It will show us the available methods on strings. So we could do something like lower, and we'll see. We can just select that. It makes whatever user input is a lower case string. So we always know that if they enter Q, whether it's uppercase or lowercase, it will equal lowercase q, what I have defined here, because we use that. We translate it to a lowercase. So if user input dot lower equals q, break, then we'll stop executing immediately. And we'll just print down here, print done, just so we can see that. So let's execute. And here we are in our run pane, enter key, Q to quit. Well, what I should have done here, I'm going to stop this execution just for readability. I'm going to put a colon and a space. It's a little bit easier to read where I need to input. There we go. That looks better. So let's put hi, blah, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. See, it's just taking inputs. And until I press Q, it will keep iterating over this while loop. Everything in this loop, it will iterate again and again and again and again, because our condition is always true. But if our user input is Q, exit the while loop. So I have now inputted Q, and I'll hit enter. And we then exit the while loop, and we print done. Just to demonstrate the lower method, again, we could also enter uppercase Q, and we're done, because we translate that to a lowercase value. So some more useful things about PyCharm, as well as learning about breaking out of while loops intentionally with the break keyword.